Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red subscribe button.
Hi guys, in this video I thought I will introduce to you the black and white processing kit that I've launched recently. Let me walk you through the few chemicals that are included in this kit. First of all, we have 1 liter of developer. This is to be mixed 1+1, so in the end we have a working solution of 2 liters. Next is the bridge. This is in 1 liter and this can be reduced once, so in the end we'll have 2 liters of working bleach also. So lastly we have the curing bath, and this comes in 500 ml only, but the good thing is that this can be reused. So every time you use it and then put it back into the container, and up to a certain point this will turn green, and that is the time to dump away. And I think this 500 ml is good for the working solution of 2 liters. So you may ask, what are the films that are suitable for processing as black and white slides? In fact, most of the black and white film can be processed as black and white slides, but there are some which are better than the others. The main criteria is that the base should be as transparent as possible, so we will get good clean highlights. I do have a table where I list down some of the film that I've tested. I'll put it in this video, but do check out my Facebook page, BW Reversal Processing. Do take note, in this table I have a column that lists the recommended ISO to shoot at. For some film like Ilford HP5, Rollei Superpan 200, you can shoot at the box speed. But for some other film like Ilford FP4, ADOC Scala 160, and such, you will need to overexpose it by 1 stop. In other words, you will halve the box ISO. That means for Ilford FP4, which has a box ISO of 125, you will shoot at ISO 64. So what are my current favorite film? I usually shoot with Rollei Superpan 200, which is quite a contrasty film, but very suitable for black and white slides. So you may want to give that a try. Otherwise, you can also try Ilford HP5, which you can use at ISO 400. The base may not be as clear as the Superpan 200, but it does look good in black and white slides too.
Alright, so I will take you through the whole process of processing the film as a black and white slides using this set of chemicals. So I've already loaded into this stainless steel tank a row of Rollei Superpan 200. Previously I have made a video about the stainless steel tank and how it will help in doing reversal. So if you have not watched this video, please click on the link on the top right hand corner. So the first step we have to do is to do a pre-wash. So I'm just using room temperature water. This tank will need 400 ml of water for a row of medium format. So let's just pour it in. The purpose of this pre-wash is just to prepare the film for the developer, and at the same time kind of slow down the developer, as the developer you are using is a very fast acting one. So once we are done, we will do the inversion. This is to make sure that the water get coated on every part of the film. And the timing is not too critical. We can make use of this timing, 1 or 2 minutes to prepare our developer.
Okay, for developer, it's actually quite easy to get it to 20 degrees. So what we need here for this tank is 400 ml of developer. So first I pour in 200 ml of this developer, and then I have another container which is ice water. I will slowly add in, top it up to 400 ml, and at the same time achieving 20 degrees, right? So if I think that it's getting lower than 20, but before it reaches 400 ml, I'll pour in some room temperature water, right? So now I think we are good at 20C. So I'm going to pour out this wash, okay, pre-wash. Depending on the film, you may get a different color of the pre-wash, right? And I'm ready to pour in my developer, and I get ready the timing. So usually what I'll do is that I only press the start button once all the chemical has been poured in. So let's pour it in now. Okay, and cap it. So this, I will start the timer, and at the same time, this will be the start of my 1 minute of agitation. Okay. So for these steps, I think this is the most critical steps. It actually determines how the final slide will look like. So in terms of the timing, temperature control is all critical, right? If you are doing something different from what I'm doing now, maybe your agitation method is different, your timing you prefer to develop at a higher temperature and at a shorter timing, you will need to do your own test, right? But the idea is that the longer you develop, the lighter will be the final slides, right? So when the first minute is up, as usual, what we'll do is that we will tap the tank on a hard surface just to disperse some of the bubbles. So after that, for every minute, I will just invert the tank for about 5 seconds and then tap it on hard surface again. So this is the agitation process that I tested all the film on. So you should follow this as closely as you can, otherwise your result may be a bit different from mine. Continue to do so for every minute until we reach 10 minutes. So we'll come back when 10 minutes is up. Alright, now we are down to the last minute of the developing process. So I'm going to give it a few more inversion. So at the end of this, at the end of 1 minute, we will pour out the developer. So do take note, do not pour it away, but instead pour it back into the same container that you used earlier so that we can use it for the second developing steps. So the timing is reached. And I will quickly pour in some water to stop the developing process. So for this, if you have access to running water, just put this tank under the running water and wash it for a minute. Of course, you still need to maintain total darkness, so just run the running water through the opening on your tank, right? For my demonstration, I will change the water one round, and then after 1 minute, we should be able to move on to the next steps. So I washed the film for a minute, I have poured out the water. So my next steps is the bleach, which I have already poured out 400 ml. Be very careful when working with this chemical, make sure you wear gloves. If any bleach got spilled onto your skin, please give it a thorough wash, right? So now I'm going to pour this in and bleach it for 5 minutes. Again, be very consistent in all your working. So in this case, I will also start the timer after all the chemicals have been poured in and I'm ready to start my agitation cycle, right? So the agitation process is the same for the first minute. Continuous inversion, and after that for every minute just do a 5-second inversion. Alright, we still have about 1.5 minutes to go. I just want to point out a few things. First of all, you notice that only for the first developer we need to be careful about the temperature, which is at 20 C, but for the rest of the steps, as long as we are in room temperature, and for Singapore we're probably about 28 to 32 or so. Today is quite hot, probably about 31 degrees or so. That will be fine, right? So now we are to the last minute of the bleach. For the bleach, there is only 1 liter in the kit, but we can reuse it once. So do not pour it away. Just find another container to store it. Just filter it using coffee filter with a funnel, and then we can use it again when you process your next roll. Right, so now I'm going to pour it out. So what I usually do is that I will pour it into the bleach container, and then I will filter it into the recycle bleach bottle separately, right? And I will again quickly pour in some water to stop the bleaching process. Right. So as usual, if you have access to running water, put this under the running water for a minute. If not, just do what I'm doing. I do continuous agitation to wash it. After 30 seconds or so, I will pour this out and I will pour in another round of plain water to wash it. So that will finish the washing process. So as you can see, the water come out quite orange. Right, so I'm going to pour in another second round of water to further wash the film. So after a total of 1 minute of washing, we can pour it out and go on to the next step, which is clearing. So after washing it for about a minute, we can pour out the water. And you notice I pour out 400 ml of the clearing bath, which I will pour into the tank, and we will clear for 2 minutes. Do take note that this clearing bath has a strong smell, so do not put your nose near it, and preferably you can wear a mask. Right, and this go for 2 minutes. And as usual, the first minute we will do continuous agitation, and after that, at the end of the second minute, we can pour out the chemicals. Do remember, this is to be reused, so pour it back into the container and use it for your next row of processing. Alright, so 2 minutes of clearing has been completed, so pour out the clearing bath. Remember, this is to be reused. So I usually pour it into my beaker first before transferring it to the container. Okay. Again, we'll do a wash by pouring in tap water again. So the process is the same. Put it under running water for a minute. If you're running water, if not, just give it a change of wash after 30 seconds. Right? Okay. Alright, the washing has been done, so now is the moment of truth. You can now open your tank and do the next step, which is re-exposure to light. Right? Okay. Okay. So usually I will re-expose under a bathroom light. That means your bathroom on the ceiling, there should be a light. I will just unwind the film and hold it against the light for about 30 seconds on which side. Let me show you how I usually do it. Just imagine that the light is right in front of me. So this is what I will do. I will hold it slowly and run it across the light on one side. And then I will flip it over and run it slowly through on the other side. Okay. So at this moment, you should see a yellowish positive. Again, how yellow it is depends on the different kind of film. This is how this Rollei Superpan 200 will look like. Okay, so just run it across the light for a total about 30 seconds on which side. there's no need to be very exact in the timing, but again, you don't want to overdo it like 5 minutes or so. So I find that 30 seconds on which side will be good enough. And then what we need to do is to reel it back into the rear again for our next steps, right? And which is why I like to use the stainless steel reel, because it is easy to load in even when the film is wet. Right. Okay. Right. So put it back to the tank. And now we are ready to do our next steps, which is redeveloping, and that will be for 4 minutes, right? Remember the developer that we have saved from the first steps. So now we are going to reuse this. Do not worry about the temperature. In fact, mine now is about 25 degrees. Just pour it in. So do the same thing, continuous agitation for the first minute, and then about 5-second inversion for every minute. So do this for 4 minutes. So now we can work in daylight. So no worry, we can open it and pour in the developer. Right. So for ease of agitating, I will cover back the cover. Okay, and start the timing. So first minute do the continuous. So for the first minute, do the continuous agitation by doing the inversion of the tank. So at the end of the inversion cycle, just tap on the hard surface to get rid of any bubbles that may be sticking onto the film. So the 4 minutes of redeveloping is up, so we can pour out the developer. You will notice that I have different containers for the different chemicals, and I mark them up clearly. So once this is done, pour in some water and agitate it to wash out the film. So any step after the clearing bath can be done in daylight, but often for the ease of agitating, I will keep the cover up. So at any point after the clearing bath, you can open up the tank and to monitor the progress. Right. So this is the developer after the redeveloping steps. So this can be discarded away because we use it twice. So if you remember, I also say that the bleach can be reused once. So if you already reused the bleach, you can also dump that away. But before you dump that away, what you need to do is to pour the developer, which you are going to discard away, into the bleach. So that will turn the bleach into something that is less toxic, and then you can pour it down into the drain. So please remember to do that. The second last steps that we need to do is to do the fixing. So I have prepared the UFED Rapid Fixer 1+9. So again, with the open cover, I just pour the fixer in. And same thing, we will fix this for 4 minutes. Okay. Alright, so 4 minutes of fixing has reached. So I'm going to pour out the fixer. So usually fixer can be reused. So I pour out the fixer and then I pour in some water for washing. I will bring this to the bathroom and then put it under running water and wash for like 10 minutes. That is my usual washing process. Okay, so I will show you the end result when the film is dry. Hi guys, we have come to the end of this video. Please like it, share it, and finally do subscribe to my channel, and I see you at my next video. Take care. Bye.